Hi, Tom Cole for BCSN and Buckeye Broadband, and welcome into another edition of It Matters at Toledo. And it's mattering a lot today to me. I love coaches, and certainly I have a gentleman with me today that's a remarkable coach, Justin Linzy. Justin, Allegheny College, welcome.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
But that's the back part of the story. We got to get to the front part of the story. You're a Toledo success story, Toledo Woodward.
Yes.
You were a polar bear.
Yes, sir.
You had great success there. Talk a little bit about some of your highlights at Woodward.
Oh, man. Was a football and track athlete there, and had a great experience. You know, Woodward to me is the essence of that area. You know, Woodward High School, and all of my uncles went there. Barry Linzy, who was a football player there. My mom went there, Marlene Lindsay. You know, I was the very last one to graduate from that institution. So. And
we were chatting off air, and I put it on air that you would be so proud of what's going on at Woodward today.
Sure.
The football team's 4-1. Right. They're doing great. They have an incredible principal, Jack Rentz, who is and a great AD and great teachers. They're revitalizing Justin that area, the neighborhood, the vibe. You know, it's a beautiful facility, beautiful school. And it's coming back, and you'd be very proud of it today. It's making a resurgence, a renaissance, which is very cool. So, okay, great career at Woodward, great heritage at Woodward, and then you go to Ohio Northern, which is a terrific school.
Yes.
But you're a polar bear again. Yeah. Wait a minute, in high school you're a polar bear, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You go to college, you're a polar bear. You've probably been razzed a little bit about that, right?
Absolutely. Actually, someone told me that I missed out on a scholarship that was available. There was some weird scholarship where if you were, you know, your same high school mascot was the same as your
once a polar bear, always a polar bear.
You know,
right.
So I wish I would have took advantage of that.
Well, you did great at Ohio Northern, and you had tremendous success. You tell the folks, I know the resume, but give me a little bit of the flavor of your resume at Ohio Northern.
Sure. I was a two-sport athlete there. I played wide receiver on the football team, as well as I ran track there as well, 100, 200, as well as a horizontal jumper. Had a great experience, was all conference in both sports.
Yeah, you were a great player and a great trackster. I mean, you're a humble guy, but you were tremendous.
It was a good experience. I had great teammates. I had great coaches. Dean Paul was my head football coach. Brian Cole was my head track and field coach, and they gave me an opportunity to take advantage of my talents and be a two-sport guy and at the collegiate level, which is somewhat rare, some folks would say, but it was a great experience, and Ohio Northern's a great school.
Justin, what was your biggest takeaway? Two things. Give me your biggest takeaway that you took from Woodward High School that helped you be the success that you are today, tremendous success you have. And then what was your biggest takeaway from Ohio Northern that's catapulted this continued success?
Sure. You know, Woodward High School has great support. You know, the north side of Toledo to me is a community where people root for others who want to do better things, you know. And once I got to college, you know, it was easier for me to broaden my horizons and think outside of the box, you know. Coming from, obviously, a big city of Toledo, Ohio, going down to Ada, Ohio, small town, cornfield.
Where they make the NFL football that everybody knows.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
All the news media always
factor.
does the Super Bowl week. They always do the segment. You know?
Sure. So, you know, it made it easier to make that adjustment from, you know, going from a city to a small town when you have that support network. And Ohio Northern gave me that family atmosphere that I was looking for. So,
you know, I think everyone, when you can be in an environment where you know that people care about you and are concerned about your well-being and want to see you be successful, it helps you as a student and an athlete to thrive, doesn't it?
Yes.
I mean, when you know that people care, because I had that similar experience. I went to a small school, and when I knew that they cared about you, it made you want to do, you know, better in the classroom, do better on the football field. I know you had the similar feeling.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it was one of those things where, you know, people take an interest in you. You know, when they take an interest in you, that makes you want to do better for yourself and makes you want to work hard. You know, the smiles and everything is great and all of the successes and the accolades, but, you know, there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go into that kind of stuff. So you have to be willing and accepting of that. You may fail a couple of times before you have that success, and that's really what this thing is about, is us providing an opportunity to be successful through understanding that you'll have some failures along the way.
You know, Justin, what you just said, if we could extrapolate that out and give it to young kids in high school and, you know, put it on their phone or whatever and play it or in a YouTube clip or a BCSN clip or whatever, because the young people today a lot of times don't understand they're not going to be immediately successful. I mean, if they're wildly successful initially, great. I'm happy for you. You know, but normally it's going to be a process, and a process where maybe you don't do so well for a while, or maybe I didn't finish there, or I couldn't get the B in algebra, or I couldn't But it's a process, and if you hang in there,
Yes.
and you keep trying and you keep fighting, there's a stick-to-itiveness to it, you're eventually going to do pretty well.
Yes. It's funny you say the process, because one of my favorite coaches is Nick Saban, and I've read a few of his books, and he talks about the process of understanding that everybody wants to be an All-American, everybody wants to get the A in the class, but be where your feet are is
like
kind of the verbiage that he uses.
love that. Yeah.
Be where your feet are. Focus in on what you're doing right now, today, and do that the best that you possibly can. And that will help you work through some of the failures. Just focus on right now, not necessarily what's going on in the future.
Let me steal that. Can I steal that from you?
Yes, absolutely. Be where your feet are.
All right, I'm gonna use that. I love that. So you have all the success. I think you have a BA in sports management. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yep. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
And now you're the head track coach, men's and women's track and field coach at Allegheny College.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. Congrats.
Thank you.
How excited were you when you first heard that you got this opportunity? Come and take me back there.
Oh, it was literally was a job that I had been watching for an entire year. Allegheny College is, in my opinion, one of the forefront institutions when it comes to higher education. The NCAC is the conference that we compete in. Most folks would say it's kind of like the Ivy League of Division III.
Okay.
Some of the top liberal arts institutions in the country reside in the NCAC, with Allegheny being one of those top institutions. So I knew that it would be a situation where we would be very heavily supported, not only in athletics but in academics as well. So it was a great opportunity. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Well, and I read something that you, when you accepted the job, I thought it was so cool. It almost sounded like our BCSN mantra when you said that you want to create great athletes and great students that are certainly proficient in what they do, but more importantly, when we put them in the community, they're great in the community.
Yes.
I thought, wow, that's a much higher level of learning than just saying, I want somebody to run the 100 well.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I want you to run the 100 well, and I want you to be an All-American and be all you can be, as our service groups say. But I want you to be, a great father, a great mother,
yes.
A positive force in the community, because it's a much higher level of learning.
It's funny that you say that, because I breathe that in the recruiting process of, I tell kids all the time, you can come here to this institution and not run fast one day or not throw far one day. My responsibility is to make sure that I'm putting a good community member out into the workforce or in their communities, being a positive influence to people. I believe that if you just be a good person, if you're a good person, you'll show up on time. If you're a good person, you'll go to class. If you're a good person, you'll work hard while you're there, while you're at practice, while you're in class. And through those things, I think the athletic side will take care of itself, and that's really been proven. My philosophy is, So.
Justin, that is I can't tell you what a great philosophy that is. That's a marvelous philosophy, and if all of our coaches had that philosophy, we'd be in really, really good shape. We're so proud of you for your success.
Thank you.
Parents that are watching, young people, we cover 31 high schools in our area, that they're tracksters and they're interested in a great education, and they're interested in working with a great coach who cares about them beyond track and field and wants them to be a success in life. Allegheny track would be a good place for them to go.
Place to be. Go Gators.
Yeah, go Gators. I like that.
So,
from a polar bear twice to a Gator, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Listen, congratulations on your tremendous success.
You. Appreciate
and
the opportunity to be
impact
here.
that you're making in our community in general, here, the people that know you, and then you're going to make it Allegheny.
Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
Coach. Thanks so much for being with us on It Matters at Toledo.